Reimagining Success, Episode 40. You're listening to Reimagining Success, the podcast where we help you reimagine your future, designing a life and career beyond the 9 to 5 that allows you the freedom, flexibility and fulfillment that you've been dreaming of. I'm your host, Anna Lundberg. Now, let's get started on those dreams. Hello there and welcome back. Now, as we have been exploring the idea of leaving the corporate 9 to 5, we've been looking at the fear of failure as well as the fear of starting all from scratch, the grass that might not actually be as green as you thought it was, and having to work harder than ever before. We've also looked at how you need to step out of your comfort zone so that you can really make the changes you want to make. And last week, we looked at how other people's concerns and objections can really weigh you down as well. So if you haven't been following along, I'd really encourage you to go back and listen to those episodes, and I hope you find value in those. But as for today, we are going to continue looking at this and ask the question, how on earth are you supposed to believe in yourself with all these fears and concerns holding you back, your own fears as well as other people's? How do you stay enthusiastic and focused as you navigate this career transition out of all that is comfortable and familiar and into the unknown of working for yourself? So today I want to look at 4 strategies that will help you stay motivated and keep believing that you really can make this happen. And I'm going to try to resist singing the Journey song, Don't Stop Believing. Let's see how we get on. So first of all, remember your why. Yes, I know, I keep going on about this, but it is super important. If you are going to put in all this time and effort, if you're going to get really uncomfortable and defend yourself effectively against both your own fears and limited beliefs and those of other people, then you had better have a very good reason for doing so. If you don't have that inner and in particular inner, but also outer motivation for understanding what it is you're working towards, then you're probably going to give up sooner rather than later and you're not going to get there at all. So make sure that you're clear on why you want to leave the 9 to 5 that you're in right now, the particular job, the aspects of that you're not keen on continuing. What is it? Is it time with family? Is it the rigidity of the structure? Is it that you want to travel more, and so on, and what you're looking for instead? So those 2 things are of course tied together. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to have an exact job description or business plan in mind. Instead, it's really about the parameters or criteria that are important to you. So for example, again, you might be looking to do work that you really enjoy, to make a more meaningful contribution to society, and to have a more flexible schedule so that you can make time for family and other important priorities in your life. Now, obviously, the more detailed you can get around this, the more you'll be able to have clarity on what you're working towards, why that's important, and then put in place a plan to get there. And in fact, that leads nicely into number 2, because the second strategy is to make a plan. Now, whoever it was who said a dream without a plan is just a wish. A dream without a plan is just a wish. So if you keep fantasizing about leaving your job, starting up on your own, but you do nothing to explore what exactly you want to do, you don't bother to identify the steps you'll need to take to get there, you don't work out the financials and so on, then you will never make any progress out of your comfort zone and out of that dreaded 9 to 5. So if you want to turn this dream into an actual goal that you mean to achieve one day, then you are going to need to plan out how you're going to do it. Now, that means that you need to define when that one day might be. So are we talking about a year from now? 3 years from now, 10 years from now, or is it just a very theoretical, I might do it someday, i.e. never? What resources, both internal and external, are you going to use and need, by the way? So money, maybe a savings buffer, certain skill sets that you have, and so on, network. What are you missing among those resources? So do you need more savings? Are you missing skills? Do you need to take a course? Are you missing the network? Do you need to start getting out there and talking to people and so on? So how are you going to put those missing elements in place? What help, what support will you need to make this work? And really the plan comes down to how you're going to break this massive project, this huge career transition and big life upheaval effectively into smaller milestones and specific action steps that are going to get you to your goals. So having this plan will help you stay focused and taking consistent action each and every week. Now, exciting news, if you're looking to make an escape plan, and if you're listening to this live, more or less, then keep an eye out, or an ear out, I should say, because we'll be doing one of our popular challenges over in the Facebook group very soon to help you do just that. So check out the One Step Outside Facebook group. You can search One Step Outside on Facebook, or you can go to onestepoutside.com/community. That's onestepoutside.com/community. And we'll have one of these fun, hopefully fun challenges, also challenging because there's a lot of hard work involved, to help you create this roadmap to your escape from the 9 to 5. So hopefully you'll join us then. Okay, that's number 2, make a plan. So number 3 is keep showing up. Now, as you start working on that plan that you've now put together, of course, you'll initially be full of enthusiasm and inspiration. How exciting, my goodness, that you're finally making this happen. You're not procrastinating, you're taking action, you've briefed a designer, you've got a logo, you've put up your website, incredible, you've learned how to code. Look how impressive it all looks. You'll be jumping out of bed in the morning and staying up late in the evenings, hustling away, counting down the days until you can give up your corporate job for good and follow your passion full time. It's incredible. And it is fantastic that you've got this far. However, sooner or later, that initial wave of euphoria and energy is going to fizzle out, and that's when it's really easy to give up, especially when you aren't yet seeing any results. And that last point is really important because you aren't going to see results, I'm sorry to tell you this, anytime soon. Yes, you might have some initial traffic to your website. Your friends are going to like your Facebook page, your Instagram will get a few followers. You may even get a client or two, in particular via word of mouth, which is fantastic. It's amazing. Congratulations. This is huge. And I don't want to belittle this in any way. But this is not yet a business. You need to be taking action consistently every day, every week, every month for a period of many months, even when you aren't seeing the impact yet, because that impact is going to hit the business maybe 3 months down the line or even later. So it takes at least 3 months and probably more for the actions you're taking today to show up. So for example, if I'm not seeing anything happen in my business right now, it's not that I'm not doing the right work now. Perhaps I am, perhaps I'm not. It's rather to look back, what was I doing 3 months ago? Oh, I was on holiday in Ibiza and I wasn't really working on my brand and nothing was happening. That's why I'm now not seeing the results. So the same for you. It's hard because you don't have hindsight, you're looking ahead. This is all about keeping the faith. Don't stop believing, remember, and having that faith that you will ultimately see those results. So you need to keep showing up every day, every week, and the results will come, I promise, but you just mustn't give up too soon. And just to give an example, I've talked about this before, but I had articles while I was blogging for a long time before I actually saw any kind of result. A few people now and then said maybe they were reading the posts and so on. But maybe a year after, 2 years after, I had an article that I wrote get shared by Arianna Huffington on LinkedIn, which of course gave me a massive drive to my website and lots of consultation calls. I've also done things like webinars where, a few people showed up, I got a sale or two, and then 6 months later, somebody's come back and said, hey, I watched your webinar and now I'd like to join. Now, increasingly that I've been out of the corporate world and I've been building this coaching business and my personal brand for longer, I'll get more and more people saying, oh, I've been following you for a year, 2 years, whatever it might be, watching the videos, possibly silently, not even engaging visibly with the content, reading the emails and so on, and now I'm ready to work with you, which is incredibly exciting. And I don't want to put you off, but I just want you to know that it is a long-term process. So yes, you'll get results in the short term, and there are things you can do to make sure you get that quick cash flow. But again, it is going to take time, and you do need to keep showing up. So that's number 3, keep showing up even when you're not seeing the results. And finally, the 4th strategy is to build your support network. Now, it can feel pretty lonely as you navigate the thorny wilderness that lies outside of the confines of your comfort zone. And ultimately, this is your journey and you're going to travel it on your own, getting very metaphorical here, sorry for the cliche. But your emotions and confidence levels are likely to follow the ups and downs of the roller coaster that inevitably will follow when you're in the early stages of building your own business. And that can be really tough. Again, I don't want to get you down, but I just want to be honest with you. If you're working from home as well, then it can be easy to feel like you're completely on your own. Now, I'm very self-motivated and I get on well at home and I have lots of calls and videos and things I feel like, and even now I'm talking to you through the podcast, I do feel like I'm seeing people, even though I'm not seeing you. But again, working from home can be isolating, and in particular when you're used to that really, active social office, for example. And I know this is another point that I emphasize over and over again, but it is an important one. Get the support you need in place as soon as you can in all its different forms. So support might mean telling your closest friends and family what you're planning on doing so that they can be there for you when you're feeling down and when it's not going to plan. Now, do listen to last week's episode around other people's objections, just for a bit of warning there. I advise you to incubate to protect your ideas, protect your plans, at least at the beginning. But if you have some trusted, very close friends and family who do understand you, fully support you and will be there for you, then, that can be really helpful to have. These are the most important people in your life after all. Secondly, it might mean finding a coach or a mentor to guide you through the process of setting up and building the business. It can start with, and it certainly did for me, again, following free content from several people until you find someone whose vibe, as they say, resonates with you, who you feel that you can know, like, and trust, and then potentially you can buy into one of their programs. But again, there's a lot of free information out there. It can be overwhelming if you go for all of it. I certainly had to unsubscribe from everybody except my own coach at some point. But in the initial phase, it can be quite inspiring, at least, to immerse yourself in everything that's out there. Get that initial injection of ideas and so on, and then you can sort of niche down once you found someone that you know, like, and trust to support you on the specific thing that you need help with. So it can mean finding a coach or a mentor. And as we said last week, it can also mean finding a community or a tribe of people who are out there doing similar things to you and who completely understand what you're going through and can cheer you on when you most need it. So those are just a handful of strategies that I hope will help you as you navigate this transition. So just to recap again, the first one, remember your why, or your definition of success, as I would call it. Make sure that you're really clear on why you're doing this, what it is you're escaping from, what you're trying to move towards, and why that's so important to you, because otherwise it's so easy to give up. This is going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. But the great thing is that once you land on that really clear vision and why, it is ironically going to be much easier. Somehow you find the time and energy alongside all the crazy things you're already doing, your full-time job, your family, and all those other things like hobbies and travel and health and so on. And you will feel rejuvenated and really excited about working on this plan. So if you can get clear on your why, understand what you're doing, what you're working towards, and that's hugely important. The second piece was making a plan. So yes, it's important to have a vision, but again, a dream without a plan is just a wish. So as much as you can have a vision board on the wall or whatever it is, some idea in your mind, this is my dream, unless you have a concrete plan for how you're going to achieve it, and in particular a deadline with milestones and action steps, you're probably not going to get around to doing it. And specifically in the context of staying motivated, unless you have that really clear strategy for what to do, you'll sit down in the morning to do some work on this business and then you won't really know what it is you're supposed to be doing. So you'll waste a lot of time, you'll feel down because you're not making any progress, and that's not helpful. So you want to make sure you define when that one day will be. If it's a year from now, 5 years, 20 years, what you need to make this happen, and so on. So make a plan is number 2. Number 3 is keep showing up. So be consistent. Again, when that initial sort of wave of enthusiasm, inspiration, excitement dies down, you need to still have that plan, still have the discipline to keep showing up. And importantly, as I said, keep showing up even when you're not seeing the results, because the results, remember, will take 3 months, if not longer, to show up in the business. Now, don't blindly follow, some random plan that you haven't really thought through and then 3 years later realize that, hey, actually the results never came. So keep your eyes open, but it's just that initial period. You do need to trust in this plan before you pivot potentially and think, hang on a second, this isn't quite working. Then you can change, but give the plan a chance before you give up. And then finally, as ever, build your support network. So again, to make sure you're not feeling lonely and alone in the wilderness all by yourself, make sure you find friends and family, coaches, mentors, and a community or tribe of people who are going to be supporting you, cheering you on, and also giving that concrete guidance and help that you really need. So again, a handful of strategies that I hope are going to inspire you, give you some concrete support, keep you motivated, keep you believing that yes, you can do this, because you can do this, I tell you, and keep you showing up consistently so that you make real progress towards your goals and successfully create a life and business outside of that dreaded 9 to 5. So thank you so much as ever for listening. I hope that was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you back here next week. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to Reimagining Success with Anna Lundberg. You can find my book, Leaving the Corporate 9 to 5, Stories from People Who've Done It and How You Can Too, in paperback and Kindle format on your local Amazon site. I hope it gives you both inspiration and concrete tips on how you can craft your own alternative career path. Happy reading!